I expect it would be best to write it in your name as Lord of Lipa.
Quite so, Margrave.
What exactly am I to write?
Oh, what isn't really the issue? The question is how. We need to learn where they stand on...
So, it looks like you're off on a mission.
Yes, I can't wait.
I don't want to dampen your spirits, my boy, but watch out. These are evil times, and who knows what can happen along the way. Not to mention that Bergov is no saint.
Don't worry.
I know. You've shown you can fend for yourself, but do take care. You'll be traveling as Lord Capon's bodyguard. You'll be there to make sure nothing untoward happens to him. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears wide open. What Bergov tells you is one thing, but what you see may be quite another.
Rest assured, Father.
And don't get embroiled in anything else. Just hand over the letter, hear out his reply, and return.
Yes.
Very well. Bergov is at Trotsky Castle. I think you'll find it quite an eye-opener. It's one of the finest castles in the land. It's 3 days' ride from here, so unless you hit a snag along the way, you'll be back soon enough. Any questions?
I'm getting a bit lost in the Luxembourg lineage. It all seems a bit too tangled.
The Luxembourgs have ruled the Empire and Bohemia for almost 100 years now. Emperor Charles brought this land to prominence. When he was in power, things had never been so good. Wenceslas and Sigismund are his sons, but by different mothers. Jobst and Prokop are their cousins. They were entrusted with governing Moravia. But instead, they've been in a bitter armed feud for years, and now Sigismund's fallen out with Wenceslas. Wenceslas also had another brother, the youngest, John of Görlitz, who was most probably poisoned. They seem like a hot-blooded lot. It's hard to keep up with their affairs, since they tend to change their alliances from one day to the next.
Who is he really, this Jobst?
The cousin of King Wenceslas. He's the Margrave of Moravia. I admit I don't know what to make of him myself. Until recently, he was allied with the League of Lords. For a time, he even served Rupert of the Palatinate against the king. And now suddenly, he's reversed his position. I don't know what led him to do it, and one can't help being suspicious. It's best to keep a watchful eye on him. But he really is the leader of the resistance against Sigismund these days. We'll just have to see how it all turns out.
I'm a bit concerned so many people seem to think so little of King Wenceslas. You knew him, didn't you? What's he really like?
Well, there's no straightforward answer to that question. He certainly makes a great hunting and drinking companion, but he can be very fiery and impetuous when things don't go how he'd like them. He never had much of a head for high office. He finds it tiresome. But once a man's grasped the scepter, it's hard to let it go again. You can't just abscond. You've seen for yourself what happens when he disappears for a few months. Better a bad but legitimate king than a bloody war over the throne.
Who is this Prokop that Job spoke of?
Jobst's brother, the king's cousin. He and Jobst warred over Moravian supremacy for years. Then they were allies for a while, betrayed Wenceslas and sided with Rupert of the Palatinate. But after Sigismund abducted Wenceslas, Prokop fomented a revolt against him, and Sigismund had him captured. Politics. Make of it what you will. I, for one, can't make head or tail of it most of the time.
The League of Lords and that Berghoff we're off to see. Who are they exactly?
The lords of the powerful houses. Heinrich of Rosenberg, Otto of Berghoff, Heinrich of Radetz, and others. They're unhappy with the way their influence declined after Wenceslas surrounded himself with the lesser orders of nobility. They abducted the king years ago and made him bow to their will. They got away with it that time, and now they've joined forces with Sigismund and done it again. But now it seems that Sigismund's behavior is starting to rub them up the wrong way, so they may well be thinking twice. We'll see what Berghoff has to say.
I don't know all that much about Sigismund.
He's the king's younger brother and king of Hungary in his own right. 7 years ago, he led a crusade against the Turks and was defeated at Nicopolis. Some say it was due to the recklessness of the French knights, most of whom were mercilessly slaughtered. Sigismund is ambitious and capable. He might well make a better ruler than Wenceslas, but he's arrogant, and to our misfortune, brutal. Not long ago, he himself was held captive by the Hungarian nobility. They dislike him as much as some of the Czech and German noblemen do his brother Wenceslas. Ironically, Wenceslas joined forces with Jobst to liberate him. And now this is how Sigismund repays his brother. There's no doubt about it. God does move in mysterious ways.
Rupert of the Palatinate. That's a name I hadn't heard before today.
Rupert is the Prince Elector of the Palatinate.
What's a Prince Elector?
The Prince Electors are dignitaries of the Holy Roman Empire who have the right to elect the King of the Romans, who would then be crowned Holy Roman Emperor by the Pope. Rupert took the title for himself with the help of 3 other Prince Electors, even though Wenceslas had already been appointed. Some of the nobility in the empire recognized Rupert's claim, but when he went to Rome to be crowned emperor, it turned into a fiasco. Now he's doing his utmost to get Wenceslas to acknowledge him, but so far without success. So, now we have 2 kings of the Romans. Jobst sided with Sigismund for a while, but now he's switched allegiance. He seems to do that quite a lot.
That young man, Sir John of Liechtenstein. Why is he here?
The Liechtensteins are a powerful Austrian family with estates in Austria and Moravia. Sir John sits on Jobst's council. Since the king's being held captive in Vienna, I suppose it makes sense to have a powerful Austrian house as allies. It could be very useful.
That's about all.
Very well. Take the letter from Sir Hanush. And good luck, son. So what do you think of it all, Sir Divish?
I think I don't know what to think.
I believe we have written it well, gentlemen.
Without a doubt. No one could deduce from this whether we are Sigismund's allies or foes.
I must travel back to Brno now, but soon I will go to Brandenburg and I will stop here on the way back. By then, Sir Capon should be back and we can discuss how to proceed.
Right. Before you leave, my lord, there is one thing that gives me no rest. Why did Sigismund come as a foe? It makes no sense.
If I may, sir, I think I can explain.
Oh, please enlighten us, young sir.
I live not far from Hungary, where Sigismund reigns. It is a savage country, and the constant war with the Turks has hardened the people. They need a monarch with an iron hand. So when Sigismund felt the wind of revolt, he reacted as he would at home. Only what works on the Hungarian nobles does not work here in Bohemia.
Bringing order is one thing, but slaughtering and pillaging with a horde of barbarians quite another. What purpose does that serve?
But Sigismund did give the Bohemian nobles a chance to take his side. It was only when they refused his ultimatum that he lost patience and took to the sword.
As for the barbarians, he could afford nothing better. The Hungarian nobility would gain nothing from joining his campaign in Bohemia. He didn't have enough coin for a regular army, and so he recruited the Cumans. What he does not pay them, they make up for in plunder.
But in the end, he didn't have enough to even satisfy the Cumans. That's why he raided Kuttenberg and Skalitz. He wanted the silver.
That makes sense.
My lords, how's the letter coming along?
It's done.
Then we can be on our way.
Now remember what we said, boy. All you have to do is deliver the letter, listen to the answer, and come back here. Don't provoke Berghoff in any way.
Provoke? Me? Never, Uncle. We'll be back in a few days. Farewell, your graces. Come, Henry, my men are waiting.
I wish you Godspeed.
So, can we set off now, Henry?
There was one more thing I wanted to attend to.
I see. We'll go on ahead and wait for you in the camp at Neuhof. I'll use the time for a hunt before we go.
Very well. We'll meet up there as soon as I'm done.
Yeah.
got something for you. I got them from Uncle Peshek. Just don't go poking them where you shouldn't.
They're lockpicks. They're not really intended for poking in your own locks.
True, but at least don't get caught. And if you do, you didn't get them from me.
Wouldn't you like to take a stroll somewhere?
I'd love to.
Listen, Teresa. There's something I ought to tell you.
What is it? What's troubling you?
I'm not quite sure how to tell you, so I'll just spit it out. So Radzig Kobyla is... my father.
And King Wenceslas is my cousin. You really had me going.
No, I'm serious.
What? But, Henry, how on earth could...
I know, it was a shock for me too. It turns out Sir Radzig and my mother had some... romance. Of course, he couldn't marry a commoner.
And your father? I mean the blacksmith. God, that sounds so odd. I mean Martin.
He knew Sir Radzig from way back. Martin... Pa married her before I was born, to protect her reputation. He raised me as his own.
And Sir Radzig allowed it?
Sure. Actually, I get a feeling the whole thing was agreed between them. Sir Radzig was glad she wasn't left alone with a child.
My God, Henry, that's just... And what will that mean for you?
I honestly don't know.
You don't know?
Well, it all depends on Sir Radzig, doesn't it? As his illegitimate son, I don't have any rights as such. But it's not like I've suddenly become a noble like Capon. And even though Sir Radzig has publicly acknowledged me, well, sort of, it hasn't really changed anything.
And if Sir Radzig decided to make a real noble of you, would you want that?
Me become a noble? Fine clothes, hunting, drinking wine from a gold goblet, and stuffed pheasant for breakfast? Ha! Of course! Who wouldn't want it?
I think there's a little more to it than that, Henry. You'd have huge responsibilities.
True. But anyway, it's not important what I want. A bastard will always be a bastard.
I don't know. All sorts of things can change. Would you still care for me, a common millmaid, if you were a nobleman?
Of course. I'll always be fond of you. Nothing will change that.
I'll remember that. I hope you won't regret those words.
No fear of that. Home again. See you again sometime.
Yes. Come by again.
Yeah.
God be with you, lad. What can I do for you?
Are you wishing you'd stayed home at Rattay instead of joining in our nighttime venture?
You must be joking. I haven't had so much fun since... actually ever.
Really? Despite being wounded? Actually, you missed the best part. When I was hauling you like a sack of grain to the battlements, dead to the world.
It can't have been that much fun if I fell asleep. But you might have handled me a bit more gently. I'm black and blue all over.
Oh, all right then. Next time I'll just leave you to Istvan's tender mercies.
Nonsense. What would you do without me? Still, thank you for hauling me out of there.
Anything for you, my lord.
Well, young sir, what now? Shall we ride boldly forth to adventures new?
I never took you for a romantic soul. But, as it happens, a romantic soul is just what I need by my side right now.
What, here?
Now? Aren't we leaving?
Ah, that's just the thing. Here we are, about to ride off into the unknown. Well, who knows what fate has in store for us? What if we should fall as heroes on the battlefield? How could I depart this world with a quiet heart, never having known true love?
I'm a little worried about you, sir. Aren't you getting overheated inside that armor?
Look, I can't just go off and get my head chopped off somewhere without first winning the heart of the girl I love. So are you going to help me or not?
Well, affairs of the heart are what I do best. I'll be glad to help you. So what do you want me to do?
You, Hal, shall be my messenger of love. You shall bear her a letter and a gift from a secret admirer.
Why me? It's not like you to be bashful, Sir Hans. You can just go and tell her,
Certainly not. Carolina is different to the others. She was educated in a convent and needs to be handled with kid gloves. Romanced. I must court her secretly. It's the latest fashion in France.
And who is this Carolina?
The fairest maid that ever walked the earth. Carolina. The butcher's daughter. You must have noticed a divine creature in the marketplace. Unless you're more interested in barnyard animals.
No, I don't know who you mean.
Really? Maybe I'm right about your barnyard interests. Well, all the more wenches for me. Your task is simple. All you have to do is get hold of a necklace fine enough to grace her lovely neck. I did have one that I inherited from my great-grandmother. Unfortunately, not anymore.
What happened to it?
I lost it playing dice at the inn. But you'll get it back for me. You're a smart lad. I'm sure you'll figure out a way. And I'll reward you handsomely.
Oh, all right then. Is there something else I should know about this necklace?
I lost it at dice in the Ledechko Tavern when I was there to see... Well, that's not important.
So you bet a rare family heirloom, even though you don't know how to play dice?
I do know how to play dice, as long as the other fella doesn't cheat. No doubt he'll still be sitting there, swindling other folk out their hard-earned groschen.
Well, then you ought to have had him clapped in the stocks. But all right, if that's what you want, I'll go to Ledechko and find this swindler of yours.
Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
God be with you.
Yeah.
God save you. What can I do for you?
Are you the one who played dice with Lord Capon?
Played and won, lad. Fine noble he may be, but he can no more throw dice than I can read Latin.
I can't disagree with you there. But look here, have you still got that piece of jewellery you won from him?
No, I don't. Some noble rode through here and we had a game or two. Only them dice kept falling his way. I was lucky to keep my boots. He's got the necklace now.
Do you know where this fellow was heading?
He was waiting for someone here, but when they didn't show up by midday, he rode on. He mentioned something about camping by the bridge over the Sasau River. That one before the charcoal burners camp. You might still catch him there with a bit of luck.
There aren't many fords along the river on the way to Sasau. Can you tell me anything else about him?
Fine gent he was, well dressed, on horseback. Had quite a lot to say. Seems he saw a bit of the world. And he had some interesting looking dice.
You said they fell well for him?
Aye, no wonder. Fine dice they was, made special. All shiny and whatnot.
That's all I need to know.
God be with you.
Are you after something? I'm afraid my friend here won't tell you much.
Your friend? Oh, I'm very sorry. And, well, I don't want to be insensitive, but I was hoping to get something from him. My master's necklace, which he won at dice.
Your master? Who would that be?
Well, Sir Radzig Cobbler of Skalitz is my liege lord. I'm Henry, but just now I'm helping Sir Hans Capon with a private matter.
Those are weighty names in these parts. I'm Sir Anselm of Domkey, in the service of... well, that's not important. I'd like to give you... that is... I'd like to ask you for your help.
I don't think I can help you. I've got a pressing task of my own to deal with.
I understand. But we could help each other out. You see, I think I know where that necklace might be.
You do? Well, I'm all ears.
The thing is, this is all my fault. I got held up on the way to meet Alphonse. By the time I got here, I found him like this.
God have mercy on his soul.
Amen, lad. I was heartbroken and enraged by turns, tearing my hair and cursing. Alphonse was my good friend, and it pains me to know he was only here on account of me. I brought him into a certain business matter to negotiate with some people, and he agreed. And this is how it ended up. When I finally pulled myself together, I took a look around and found some tracks. I followed them to the camp of those very brigands that Alphonse was supposed to negotiate with.
Nah, you can't trust anyone these days. So how can I help?
You can pass yourself off as Alphonse. Get into the bandits' camp and find that fucking murderer. And when you do, you'll find what you're looking for.
That doesn't make any sense. If one of them killed Alphonse, he'll know I'm not him.
No. They never saw him before. So whoever killed him surely took him for some passing merchant.
Are you quite sure they don't know him?
Aye. He moved in altogether different circles, among decent people. That's the very reason I asked him for help. So I reckon the best thing is for you to introduce yourself as Alphonse, have a snoop around, and come back to me when you find out anything.
Is there anything else I should watch out for while passing myself off as Alphonse?
The main thing is to look and sound like a noble, not a peasant. A commoner. So dress the part. No rags or rusty iron.
My word, the whole thing sounds like quite a twisted affair.
So are you going to help me?
I'll help you. I'll have to go there to look for the necklace anyway, and this seems as good a way as any.
Thanks 1,000-fold. And for the love of God, don't get caught. I'd never forgive myself if another man lost his life on my account. If it starts to look risky, take to your heels.
I'll bear that in mind. Looks like he died without a struggle. Maybe killed in his sleep. They took everything he had. Money, jewellery, even his boots. Someone was searching for something here. Were they out to rob him of everything he had, or something in particular? Could it be someone was trying to get rid of something here? Would I be right in assuming this is the encampment of Sir Erhard, Baron Bielewitz?
You must be Sir Alphonse, eh? All the way from Prague, eh?
Prague, yes, quite. But I travelled via Guren, thinking it the less hazardous route, comparatively.
Oh, aye. The roads ain't safe at all these days. There's all sorts of rabble waiting to rob unwary folk and even kill them.
Indeed, I concur. One must be wary, well, cautious even, when travelling.
Right then, but you'll have to wait a while. Sir Erhard is busy at the moment.
No matter, I shall just,
but it's easy to pass the time here. There's always a dice game going on, with nice things being wagered. I had my eye on a fine pair of gauntlets, and some old piece of jewelry.
Jewelry, you say?
That's right. Just go and see old Blaha, the fellow sitting at that table there. He can read, write, and do sums as good as any scribe, and other things, too. He keeps things in shape here a bit.
Thank you. I may well do that. Can you tell me something about yourself?
What can I tell you? I can read and write a bit, and I help Sir Erhart out when he needs it. Although, I have to say, since the Baron took to robbing, there's not much work for me anymore.
And what did he do before that?
What every landed noble does. He still had some estates and income from them, only he lost it all some years ago on account of debts. So he had to find some other livelihood.
I was told I could have a game or two here until Sir Erhart has time to see me.
Aye, he's got his hands full at the moment. You must be Sir Alphonse, eh? I'm Blaha, Sir Erhart's servant. I take care of things here a bit.
Including dice? It has come to my attention that there are interesting things being wagered.
True enough. We've got a fine pair of plate gauntlets, 2 necklaces, one of them's a lovely piece, a good sharp sword, and some other things, I don't remember what. The custom here is if you want to play, you've got to wager something to join.
Do you really think it's appropriate to ask your lord's guest to pay for his own entertainment?
Since you put it that way, sir. No, perhaps not. You want to play right away, or...?
Why wait? I'll play now.
No beating around the bush. That's the way. You'll play against Noggin now. He's not the brightest, and he ain't a good loser.
You're a fucking cheat. Sir, I challenge you to a duel.
I won't take any accusations from you. I accept. You'll have to pay up, then you can go.
I agree.
How did you find this place?
That was my doing. I heard from a scribe about some ownership feud that ended up badly for both sides. Since then, it's been left neglected.
Oh, that's a shame. No doubt it was once a fine place.
Aye, the vagaries of fortune, eh? Times are harsh and what have you. It's always been that way and always will. I wonder how many burned out, abandoned ruins will be left when Sigismund withdraws. How many folk will have no homes to return to? And how many won't be returning ever? But that's our lot in this vale of tears. There'll be no peace and quiet till the next life.
Amen to that.
I'm so hungry I can eat my foot. No one to rob here. Fucking boring.
The blessing of our Lord Jesus Christ upon you, Baron Belevets. I'm honored to make your acquaintance.
No one to rob here.
The pleasure is mine, sir. We haven't had any interesting visitors here for a long time, and I'm keen to hear what news you bring. And then there's the matter of our trade.
Indeed, we certainly have much to discuss, sir.
Good. And how was your journey, Sir Alphonse?
Long and somewhat fatiguing, truth be told.
Ah, would you rather put off our talks until later?
No. I shall be glad to deal with our business right away, but I'd rather tell you the latest news later.
Very well. If you wish to skip the pleasantries, let's get down to business. From what I've heard, you have some proposal for me that would involve departing from Vlashim?
Yes, essentially. We need to divert attention elsewhere. To pilgrims.
Yes, why not? It's a reasonable journey and a rich town. And who are we to devote our attention to?
Merchant wagons.
Of course. How better to put the fear of God in the townsmen than to relieve them of their silver? Do you want us to conduct our business on any particular road?
The road to Prague.
That makes sense. Aye. And what's in it for us? If terrorizing folk is what you want, there might not be much profit in it.
Would 6,000 groschen suit you?
That's not enough. Make it 9 at least.
Very well. You shall have 9,000 groschen.
And that's everything?
I can also offer you a safe hideout, if you should have need of it.
That's always useful to have somewhere to lie low. Where is it?
In Benishov.
That's all acceptable. I agree then. Now we've settled our business, you can go and rest. We'll talk later when you feel up to it.
Thank you, Sir Erhard.
What a shitty day. I need a good scrap to cheer me up.
I gotta piss.
I want to play dice. Who will be my opponent?
They fell your way last time, and no mistake. Then there's Pekuna. He's a local fellow who brings stuff for us. He put up a nice necklace as his wager.
How did I do? Have I won?
Well now, Sir Alphonse, you took 'em all by storm. Here's the key to the prize.
Thank you kindly.
What else is there to do?
What's going on here anyway? It all seems a little odd.
Haven't you ever been in the camp of a merry band of robbers?
Never quite this merry, to tell the truth.
They've got their loot, and now they want some fun. Booze, dice, and women. I'm the only girl here. Well, they're more interested in dice, anyway. And boozing. And they're no fun at all.
Well, they seem very fond of their dice, all right.
Aye. They always play the same way. Every player bets his most valuable piece of loot, and the winner takes all. It ends in a fight most times, although it's a long time since anyone got killed over it.
I better watch my step then.
You do that, handsome. It'd be a shame to spoil that pretty face.
Sorry, I traded them for food.
I have good news for you, Sir Anselm. I know who killed your friend. Who was it? It was their chief who did it.
What? The Baron of Belovitz? I really didn't expect that. How did you find out?
From the boots. They had to be Sir Alphonse's.
All right. I'll take care of it from here. And I owe you for helping me. Here, Henry, take this. I'm sorry I don't have more on me. But if you're ever in Prague, come and look me up, and I'll see you're well taken care of.
It's been a pleasure, Sir Anselm. Godspeed.
God save you, Henry.
Greetings. What do you need?
I've got that necklace.
Excellent news! I'm not going to ask you how you did it. Here's a reward for you. Now you can carry on with your next task. I want you to sneak the jewellery into Carolina's trunk along with this letter.
Can't I just hand them to her?
You cannot. Under no circumstances must she find out who sent them. Otherwise the whole secret admirer ploy is fucked. Oh, and by the way, Henry, watch out for the butcher. He keeps a very close eye on his daughter, and if he catches you sniffing around, well, may all the saints preserve you. Once you've delivered the things, wait a day, and then come back and see me. Take care. The Lord be praised. What brings you to me?
I delivered the things as you asked.
I already know. My spies told me everything. She was wearing the necklace this morning as I asked in the letter.
So you'll go to the rendezvous with her?
Certainly not. I'm not going to pounce on her like a bull in rutting season. Her feelings must be allowed to mature gradually. Meanwhile, you'll get a potion for me.
I thought you didn't believe in witches' brews.
This is no witch's brew. It's an absolutely tried and tested elixir called Musk of Infinite Allure. There's a fellow in Sasau who sells it, and he guarantees its success.
Musk of Infinite Allure? Sounds irresistible. All right, I'll try and get it for you.
I'm sure I can rely on you. Here's some coin for your costs. Good luck, then.
Wine squeezed from grapes, cultivated from a rose bush. Huh. I know you. I know you from somewhere.
Apples, cucumbers, onions.
Where do I know you from?
What?
Of course, my dream. You were in a boat made of bone, and I put a crown of thorns on your head.
I've heard you know of some irresistibility potion or whatever it is.
Oh, naturally! Musk of Infinite Allure. An age-old recipe, maybe even older. Tested by Moses himself.
Moses?
How do you think he managed to get his people to follow him through the desert for 40 years? It's extremely potent.
Yeah, so it would seem. How much do you want for it?
Who do you take me for? The wisdom of the ancients isn't something that's bought and sold in the marketplace. Did Jesus charge for his miracles? But since you ask, how about this much?
That's not much.
Really? All right, double then.
What? Why? You... Oh, why do I even bother?
If you like, I can mix the elixir for you in exchange for a small favor. This is a matter that demands experience and knowledge of the philosophical arts that only a few possess. It's not a task I can trust to just anyone.
But to your apprentice, you can, right?
See, you read my mind.
About that recipe.
Get it before it
Yes,
goes brown.
you want to buy it?
Yes, I need it right away.
I understand. I'm sure you'll be more than satisfied with it.
Well, I won't be drinking it, fortunately.
Carrots, it'll make you.
I can't sleep again.
Can't. I just can't.
Greetings. What business have you?
I got you that potion from the charlatan.
What charlatan? He's a man of learning who even cured the Pope of impotence. But thanks, Henry. I really appreciate your help. Once I drink this potion, every woman will faint at my feet. But I'm only interested in one. The fairest creature on God's green earth.
Yeah, the butcher's daughter, I know. And then what?
A rendezvous. She and I, under the cloak of night. And you shall be my herald of exalted words. You will hide and prompt me from a book of poetry.
I'll do what?
Here's a book of poems. I'll need a little time to get ready. Meanwhile, you can learn some poems off by heart. You'll prompt me.
Learn poetry? Me? That sounds... well, not exactly...
Stop wasting time and get to it. Come back to me in a couple of hours. I have to get dressed up and groomed, and it'll take a while before the potion takes effect. Take care.
Are you ready, Sir Hans?
Henry, something's gone wrong.
Open up. I'm not going to talk to the door.
That potion tasted rather odd, and now I have a feeling my face is broken out. How do I look?
No offence, sir, but you gave me quite a fright. It looks as though you've slept with your head inside a wasp's nest.
God's holy breeches, I knew it! And it's nearly time for my rendezvous with Carolina. What am I going to do?
You just sit tight, and I'll go and find you some antidote.
All right. But hurry, Henry. I can't wait any longer.
The best cure for this kind of thing is marigold decoction. I can get you that right away.
It's gone! I'm as gorgeous as before. Let's go! Tell me, Henry, how many girls have you had in your life? If you've had any at all, that is.
Well, there's been a few, but I'm sure I can't compare with you.
Ha! Very true. One day plays will be written about my amorous adventures.
Comedies or tragedies?
That might depend on how things go tonight. There's another very pretty girl living in this house here, but she's already got a suitor.
Since when has that ever bothered you?
Since the time her fellow threw me headfirst into a dung heap and kicked my arse for good measure.
It seems your future subjects don't hesitate to take a stick to you when it comes to minding the womenfolk.
I doubt he would have done it if he recognized me. I was, incognito. We're almost there. You'll hide behind a gravestone or in the bushes and don't budge from there. Otherwise you might scare her off.
Hide, Henry. Time to get started.
How do you know it's her who will come out and not someone else?
She got the letter and necklace, didn't she? She knows that that is, her secret admirer is coming.
And what am I supposed to do?
What do you think, dolt? Prompt me from that book of poetry.
Who's there? I can't see you.
Your most ardent admirer, fair maid.
Uh-huh. And do you have a name?
What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would still be a flower, wouldn't it?
Start. How?
What are you saying? I can't hear you.
Gentle night, why linger on? I yearn thus for my love so long. Without her words to still my breast, who shall set my soul to rest?
Gentle knight, why linger on? I earned this from my love so long. Whip out your worthy silky breasts. Who shall suck my salty bits?
No! And now my heart in sorrow dwells, from melancholic pining swells, since I, alas, was forced to part from the mistress of my heart.
I know my horses sort of well, some alcohol from 9 to 12. Seems I always have whores apart from the mistress of my heart.
Psst. What on earth are you saying?
What's that hissing?
It's, a feral goose here in the bushes.
Ah, Lord, let me not wait in vain. I long to see my love again. O gentle sir, be of good cheer. I shall not cling to another dear.
Landlord, let me not wait in vain. I long to sing and laugh again. O gentle sir, get off your chair. I shall not bring you another beer.
Jesus, Henry! What kind of yokel nonsense are you babbling?
Me? You're the one who's babbling?
You're an odd one. I've never heard such peculiar poetry in my life. Where on earth did you come up with it?
It's the latest fashion in France.
You've done enough harm. Better shut up and leave it to me.
How did you like it, dearest?
Ah, how tender you are. Father is coming! Hide!
Who was that talking? If it's some dandy again, I'll gut him with my filleting knife.
I didn't hear anyone.
Did you hear what he said?
But I have a bad feeling about this, Hans. I think we should...
Are you still there?
Still here, my love. How could I have apart from you?
Father's coming! He'll kill you!
He will not. Because it'll never cross his mind where I'll be. Henry, it's time for me to claim my prize. Whatever happens, cover my back.
There you are, you seducer! Now you'll see how a butcher protects his daughter's honor.
Buy me time.
You got some explaining to do, you bastard!
What are you after, you bastard sneaking around an honest citizen's house in the dark?
Oh, I'm just here to pick some cemetery blossoms. See?
Is that so? Well, you don't look like you've had much success.
I only just got started when I was interrupted by some idiot. Not meaning you, of course.
Enough of your horse shit. One more word, and I'll have you.
You really came.
How could I not, my dearest?
Not so fast.
Prince Charming. But since you're here...
Hey, what was that?
What was what?
That noise. I'm sure I heard a strange noise.
We're here in the cemetery. Maybe restless spirits, what do you reckon?
I'd swear it came from the window of my own house.
What's that got to do with me?
Someone's been creeping around after my daughter. I come out and I find you here. Quite a coincidence, eh? So, out with the truth.
You're quite mistaken. I've never laid eyes on your daughter, and if she looks anything like you, I'd rather keep it that way.
Why, you fucking...
Mon petit lapin.
There's a lace here. Untie it.
Don't try to make a fool of me. I heard it clearly. What was that?
Are you all right? It seems to me you're hearing things other folk can't hear. That's not good.
You're saying I'm hearing voices in my head?
Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. St. Euphrosyne of Polotsk heard voices too, and she founded a monastery and churches and things.
I heard voices too. Well, could have been voices. I wouldn't swear to it though.
Look, fellas, I was standing right here and I didn't hear a thing. Do you take me for a madman?
Whatever you are, I want to know what you're doing under my daughter's window and who was talking to her. I heard it clear as day.
Good neighbour, it can't be denied that old age dulls a man's ears. I'm here alone, praying for the souls of the good people resting in the cemetery. I've nothing to do with your daughter.
That voice sounded different to yours, though. But where did he get to? You must have seen him. Unless you're covering for him.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
Jasem skutni hori kodelnikov syn.
What the fuck are you playing at? My patience is wearing thin.
Jasem skutni hori kodelnikov syn.
Jesus, stop your damn screeching.
Nakopeczku stala plakala. Jezu Maria, volala. Jezu Maria, Jezu jemine. Budale tu chlapec nebone. Budale tu chlapec nebone.
Christ almighty. Let's go, fellas. This one ain't right in the head. The guards will have him for screeching after curfew. Let's not get mixed up in it. But if I ever see you here again, I'll beat some sense into your idiot skull.
God bless you. What troubles you?
How did it go with Carolina, Sans?
Henry, it was the most wonderful night of my life. She was completely entranced by my courting. I hardly had to touch her, and she melted in my arms. And then she took me to paradise. It was glorious. It was sublime. Thanks, in part, to you, my faithful henchman and messenger of love. You've earned your reward.
It was an honour, Sir Hans. When are you going to see her again?
Oh, I'm not going to see her again. All beautiful things must come to an end, and, after all, I am a nobleman, and she is the butcher's daughter.
Well, that's how it ends, with the love of your life. After the secret gifts, the letters, the intrigues, reciting poetry in the moonlight.
My eloquence was wasted on her, Henry. Imagine, the silly cow couldn't even read. She returned the letter to me unopened. Here's the letter, Henry. Read it. At least you're capable of appreciating my literary talent. Read and learn from a poet. See you later.
And well, I'm sure we can come to some agreement, your lordship.
Well, bearing in mind, Master Butcher, that we have nothing to come to agreement about yet.
Well, yes, sir. No, sir. Well, I thought I ought to let you know what happened. My daughter's good name could be besmirched, dragged through the mud. And his young lordship's too, of course.
Well, only if she should find us... Only if she should find herself with a permanent reminder.
Well, that could happen yet, sir, couldn't it? I mean, if her belly starts to grow. You know how word gets around, and, well, folk would assume that Sir Hans is the father, even if some other young fellow was to come along in the meanwhile, and, well, you know, we already know, the girl can't be watched.
Are you trying to blackmail me? Have you forgotten that I am the lord of this town, and that you are nothing but a stinking butcher?
Oh, God forbid, sir. I'm just thinking of his young lordship's reputation, and my girl's, but, of course, if his young lordship was to recognize the bastard as his own, and pay for his upbringing...
You can thank your lucky stars you're the only butcher around here. Otherwise, I'd have you out on your ear this very day.
But, sir, I'm only...
Here, take this, you damn scoundrel, and never show your face here again.
Thank you, Your Lordship. I'm sure this will be enough. Thank you, sir. Thank you kindly.
Blasted fool Capon. I'll wring his neck. I'll have his balls on a platter!
How about it, Henry? Can we go? Are you ready for this?
Of course. At last I'll get to see more of the country and have a bit of an outing.
Quite.
Let's get to it then. I finally have the feeling we're doing something worthwhile. We're helping to save the king.
Instead of saving his drunken majesty, I'd rather find that whoreson who murdered my parents, get the sword back from him, and skewer him with it.
Cheer up, Henry. I have a feeling you'll get your chance one day, and it won't be long in coming. Forward, men! Audentes fortuna juvat!